So, in this second video of my series on depression, I wanted to talk about pornography because I feel like that's an area of the modern world that's not often touched upon, and it's not. Well, it's kind of taboo to talk about it, I guess, even though the consensus seems to be that everybody does it. And I've just found through my own research and experience that pornography and excessive sexual stimulation is just incredibly detrimental to health in general, both mental and physical. There's this effect called the Coolidge effect that you may have heard of. Essentially, it talks about the way sexuality works in general. So they did an experiment on male rats, as always, and in this case, at first they put the rat in a cage, and then they put a receptive female in the cage with him, and that rat goes on to copulate with the female a few times until it kind of gets enough and starts looking for food and doing whatever rats do in the cage. But if you put that rat in the cage, then you give him a female, he'll copulate with her until, he gets bored and he stops. But then you take that female out and put another one in. He'll start copulating with her again and again and again, and then he'll get bored and go do something else. Then you put another one in, and the same will continue. So sexual novelty is something that will keep us on our toes sexually. And I'm talking specifically about men in this instance. I'm sorry, I just don't understand exactly how all of this works for women, although I can safely say that pornography has an incredibly detrimental effect on you, whether you're a woman or a man. But as a man, I'm speaking from the male experience. But what happens with this male rat, who's constantly given new sexual opportunities and just keeps on going at it, is that he just keeps on going at it until he's completely physically and mentally exhausted and may even need, a day or two to recuperate. And if you think about it, today's high-speed internet pornography that's everywhere, and you have it like on your phone, you can literally click and be on some porn site in 2 seconds with any and all types of sexual kinks at your disposal, and infinite variety and infinite novelty. And this being the case, I think so many of us men are sucked into this succubus of internet porn, and this really just ruins everything about us, about what makes us humans. This takes away our energy, it takes away our motivation, it takes away our brains and our strength, and it's just something that we really need to get out of our lives. Like I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I believe that every man and every woman would do very well to get pornography out of their lives by whatever means necessary. Like if that means having an accountability partner, or if it means putting up website blockers like I do on my computer and my smartphone. Because we are just human, we really are, and it's very easy to become ashamed of like trying to maybe quit a behavior that we feel like we shouldn't be doing it, but we're doing it anyway. And we need to realize that this is incredibly, it's unrealistic, really. Like, we need to realize that we are only human, we have these urges, and they are more powerful than our will most times. And that's why we need to set up systems around it so that we can break the patterns. But I've found in my own life that apart from physical health, and apart from like diet and what I eat, and just staying physically healthy, pornography is probably the main thing that causes depression in my life. And I assume that's the case for a lot of people. And now that I've realized this, and I have to admit, like, for many years I have been battling, like, I really wanted to quit pornography for a long time, and I've tried, and it's gone, Sometimes it's gone very well, sometimes it hasn't, and like there have been months and even like up to a year where I haven't looked at porn at all, and then I've been other periods of time, especially periods that have been very stressful and difficult, where I've like really binged and really sunk deep into that rabbit hole. But I'd say slowly but surely I've been kind of breaking free from this and just finding how much better life is without it. And I think this is especially pertinent to people of my age and younger, people who have grown up with this high-speed internet porn at our fingertips. I think like the older that you are, the more likely it is that you don't even really know what I'm talking about, which is a very good thing. Like don't start looking for porn if you haven't done it before. So that's all I wanted to say. But I think there's more to this as well. There's a spiritual aspect. And spirit is very important to our mental state. I think it's seriously overlooked many times. Like just finding a connection with nature and with the divine, I think can really, really help us to both keep us on the straight and narrow when it comes to behavior and what we do with our time and with our hands. But it also has a direct effect on our mood and on our mental state. And I found that the more that I separate myself from the consumerist ideals and move further into kind of, you might say asceticism in some sense, although I'm not like masochistic in that way. I try my best to simplify my life as much as I can. And the more I kind of move toward my own conception of God and the divine, and further away from the sort of societal weird consumerist ideals that we're constantly that are constantly pushed upon us, I find that it gets easier to actually stick to my guns, to stick to my own values, and actually determine what my values are, and stay away from the behavior that doesn't serve me. Things like pornography, or eating way too much sugar, or drinking too much coffee, or whatever it is. Like all these societally and culturally sanctioned behaviors that are incredibly harmful and just really stop us from thriving in life. So I'm going to end this video here. I hope you gained some value from it, and if you did, I hope you like and subscribe. And you can check out my book below. It's called Health Simplified, where I go into my own experiences with healing myself from debilitating autoimmune disease. And I also go into other things such as addiction and mental health and all other kinds of things that I've gained a lot of insight on my journey of healing. You can also check out my website, joyofawareness.com. I've got a few pretty cool articles on there that pertain to the same topics that I'm talking about on this channel. So hope to see you next time.